Hello, YouTube world, veterans, aka VA employees, everybody watching. Hey, welcome. Welcome to another video where we talk about VA disability. Hey, Attorney Matthew Lang, VA credit attorney here. All that years of experience in the VA and veteran myself, all that other good stuff. Hey, I'm not here to sell myself. I'm here to talk about VA disability. So let's do it. Let's give some education. Let's make our process smoother so veterans can get the benefits they're entitled to. Here's the topic I want to go into today. Over the years, the VA has definitely taken steps to be a little bit more transparent with veterans to give you an idea of where your claim may be. So if you have internet access, you can see online what they now have is these steps, or I've heard some people call them stages too, but I believe they call them steps, to where your claim's at when you file a claim. There's actually 8 steps on the list here. VA does provide on their website a little bit of description on those, but let me see if I can shed some light on these a little bit more for you as you look at it. One thing I want to note here before I forget is going back to another video I did about how long the VA is taking to process claims. One thing I forgot was this page here actually also just gives that kind of overall number. Can't say it's the most current. It could be a couple months behind, but it does give you an idea about how long the VA is taking to process your claims there, veterans, without having to go through all those extra reports that we talked about last time. So just know, I'll put this link in the description. So if you want to look at it, you can just quickly glance at it. But let's go through these steps here. So on the va.gov login section, or the benefits page, as it may be called, you veterans, once you file a claim, are going to receive a notification of these steps. Step 1, claim has been received. Here's what the VA's got to say on that. So it says we'll let you know when your claim, let me try that again. My mind is moving 100 miles an hour. We'll let you know when we receive your VA disability claim. So then it talks about if it's been filed online, you'll see an on-screen message. If it was by mail, we'll send you a letter. So let me give you an idea, something here to look out for, veterans. This is one thing I've been experiencing on this side. I have veterans that I represent and will file claims on their behalf. Now, when we file these claims, typically when the VA receives the claim, it will show this step, claim received, or at least it should. I have veterans who will come at me and go, "Why haven't you filed that claim?" I'll be like, "Look, I did. I faxed it. I mailed it. I quick submitted it and an upload program that the VA has. I might have even taken it down to the regional office. I've probably done a combination of all of these at some point because for some reason the VA is not showing the claim is received, even inside your VA file that I can see, veterans. Now, why is this? And I want to just point this out because I don't want you freaking out when you don't see that it shows claim received, even though the claim has been sent to the VA. We have to remember that the VA is a very big system. It's a very big department. There is a lot of moving parts, a lot of logistics that we've talked about before in other videos. But every now and then we've experienced some mail processing, some contractors who upload everything in the systems. Maybe those systems go down, whatever the logistical error may be. And it will delay the showing of the receipt of this claim. So VA will have received your claim, veterans. It just may not be uploaded into the file yet, and then marking on your va.gov page that has been received. I have witnessed this taking up to a month after it's been received. And then eventually what happens is, since we can't always tell either if the claim's been lost in the fun world of the process for veterans, we'll try to put you at ease, veterans, and let you know that we're definitely looking out for you, and we want to make sure the VA's got the claim, so we'll keep filing it, and sometimes then we get 3 of them show up in the file. So just understand, don't panic. I know it's hard to sometimes not do. I know I would panic if I don't see it. Like, what's going on? Why hasn't the VA got it? I told my representative to file it. Many times we have. So just keep in mind, the system's not perfect. That's just one little flaw that we've seen. But ultimately, yeah, step 1, claim's been received. VA's got it. Moves into step 2. Once the VA's acknowledged they've received it, we got step 2, initial review. So here's what the VA's got to say on that one. We'll check your claim for basic information we need, like your name, social security number, and if the information is missing, we'll contact you. So what's that look like kind of on the inside, right? So There are laws out there, veterans, for you that says the claim must be substantially complete, is the terminology that's used there. So there's certain things that got to be on that form. Kind of what the VA is identifying here, your basic contact information, most of the time your name, your social security number, maybe a date of birth, anything that identifies you that the VA needs in order to make sure that document or that evidence gets hooked up with your, or in this case, that claim can be hooked up with your file. And in the nice electronic world we have. So if for some reason something's missing, and yes, I've made a mistake and forgot a signature sometimes, thinking I put it on there, or I filed the one without the signature by mistake, VA will send a letter. Hey, forgot the signature. Maybe you forgot the social security number. Maybe you forgot important piece of information that makes that claim substantially complete. So yes, you will get notified, veterans, if that's the case. Myself as the representative, if I'm your representative, I will too. We'll make the adjustment, but it's not the end of the world. It doesn't mean that you've really lost anything in the claim, as long as we can make that correction correctly. So that's what we're looking at there on those first two steps: received, and then there's got to be a review to make sure that substantially complete is really the term there. Make sure the VA's got the information they need to start processing. Step 3, evidence gathering. That's really the first step, really, of any process. After we get through those little checks, this is the huge part. VA even notes it here on their website here. We'll review your claim and make sure we have all the evidence and information we need. If you need more evidence to decide your claim, we may gather it in these ways. VA will ask you to submit the evidence. Veterans ask you to maybe attend an examination, request for records from your private healthcare provider, gather evidence from your VA records. So here's kind of going on in the background, and we may have talked about this a little bit, but let's just go ahead and put it out there again if we have. So step 3 on the evidence gathering portion, this is literally the biggest part. Now, this here means that the claim's been received and it's been deemed on a proper form. It's substantially complete. There's nothing to correct on it. So a VSR typically will now get your file with veterans at some point, and they'll go through, and they're supposed to go through all the laws and the rules and regulations that govern duty to assist and duty to notify and how to get that evidence. There's processes for gathering federal records and those duties there, including VA records, service records, so forth. And there's processes to help you veterans to gather any private information. Like if you happen to have a primary care physician or provider outside of the VA network, well, they'll assist you in the best they can, or what they're allowed to do in gathering those records. But ultimately, that veterans, just keep in mind something like that. You're going to need your help quite a bit there, likely from like filling out an authorization to release those records, or maybe even getting them yourself. But the point is this is the point where the VA goes through and says, hey, this is all the evidence we need. Now, if there's something that they run across, like for example, veterans, you indicate somewhere in a statement or on that initial claim filing here that you do seek treatment from outside provider, outside of the VA network, and you didn't provide the authorization form for the VA to help, they'll go, hey, we need more information. We need you to fill out this VA form 4142 and 4142A, so they can get that authorization. So you may see letters like that. Now, like I said, no system's perfect, so let me give you the slight downside. Sometimes it does occur, and we will see letters that are catch-all. What was known as a VCAA letter has turned into the description of a 5103, because that's the section of the United States Code it comes from. But ultimately, it's a duty that the VA has to make sure that you're aware of all the evidence that can be submitted and how to submit that evidence. So there will be times where VA will send that when they shouldn't, I have seen, but they do send it when they should as well. So I mention this, veterans, to you because when you see a letter that's just got everything, you're going, but I've submitted everything I got. I don't understand what they're asking. It's a catch-all letter, so just keep in mind if there's anything you've thought of that's on that list that you feel might be helpful to your claim. It's something to consider. Now, I can't tell you how to work your own claim. Facts are all different. But I know as a representative myself, usually what I'm going to tell veterans I represent is, hey, we filed everything that you identified to begin with, everything we were able to gather. We got to let the VA do their part, but it is a catch-all letter to make sure that there's nothing else left if you do happen to have anything He sent it to me. We'll get taken care of. That's for the veterans I represent. I'm giving you an inside look again, pulling that curtain back. But again, this is the largest piece of the puzzle. And this is going to likely take the most time from experience for the VA to do because of, just all the evidence that they've got to gather, the steps they've got to go through, the amount of time it takes to do each step at that. Now, what usually happens inside the system is VA is tracking that evidence gathering process, usually through something that they call tracked items. Those eventually get closed out, boom, boom, boom. Now, I can't say for certain because I haven't worked inside the system when this piece came out, but I'm going to guess that when those tracked items get all closed out, you're going to probably likely move to an evidence review stage or step. That's step 4. We'll review all the evidence for your claim if we need more evidence, or you submit more evidence, your claim will go back. So ultimately, it's a double check to make sure that BSR hasn't forgot anything. BSR will be like, okay, I think I got this, I got that, go down the checklist. Maybe veterans you did in the process, you responded to one of those letters, you got some more evidence in there, even though everything closed out. It needs another review to say, oh, look, we do need more evidence. The veteran did identify something else. Again, maybe some treatment records. So what you could likely see here is the steps go backwards. So you can take steps back and you can take steps forward in this process. And it's not a bad thing. I get a lot of veterans like, oh, I don't understand. Why did I go back? I have the same question. I really would. And what helps is if you do have a representative, we can usually look in the file and get an idea most times of, VA realized that they needed this, and so they had to go back and make sure that they took care of that. So you can see the steps go back. It is identified here on their sheet. That does say if we need more evidence or you submit more evidence, your claim will go back to step 3, evidence gathering. So just keep that in mind. We can step backwards and forwards. Now I say that this is likely how step 4 gets there because step 5 notes rating. And I know from inside the system there's statuses on your files to veterans to help the VA identify who needs to do their job first before the next person, who to assign that claim to. So rating would likely say that status has now changed. The VSR has gathered the evidence. The VSR has reviewed all that evidence. They went back and they stepped backwards if they had to gather more evidence. If they don't feel like they need to step backwards, they'll mark it for, what they call ready for decision. In the old days, we called that ready to rate. Anyhow, that will put it in this rating step, I suspect. Here, the VA mentions that this is where we'll decide your claim and determine your disability rating. If you need more evidence or you submit more evidence, your claim will go back to step 3, evidence gathering. So there's another possibility where veterans you can step backwards. Now, this time, not 1 step, but 2 steps. And then come back through the steps. So what this means is there's supposed to be a checks and balance really built into the system. VSR is going to go through the claim and they're going to say, I got this. Another VSR, perhaps, or the same VSR, is going to review everything again and go, okay, make sure I did this. Yes, I got that. We're good. Or wait, I forgot. Go back. Okay, so they're checking themselves. And then we get to this rating part where the VSR has said, yes, I've got everything. I'm pretty confident it's all there. And it may be and it may not be. Maybe they happen to overlook something, forget something. But that's okay, because this is where the fail-safe is supposed to land now. The rating, where we're into like usually an RBSR world or maybe even a decision review officer, but let's use the RBSR in this case, after that BSR, who will now look at everything. Supposed to look at everything. Look at all the evidence and make sure that the VSR did all those steps and fulfilled all the duties to assist and duties to notify. And if for some reason the RVSR says, wait, I feel that you did miss this one item right here, you overlooked it, maybe there's a lot going on in the file, it can happen. So they can send it back. They can actually defer it back and you'll end up back in, step 3. So just keep that in mind, veterans. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It could be a good thing because you've got the VA hopefully looking out and for you in their checks and balances and making sure that, everything is gathered correctly. Can't say that's always what I see on my side, but again, bad and ugly. But I do know there's our claims that it works out properly, and there's quite a few. So if it does go back, remember you're stepping back into 4, you're stepping back into 5, and even though that was there before, it could go back again, come forward. Maybe somebody else looks at it and says, "Oh, they did a great job, but I see this now that maybe I've missed." It could happen. But anyways, the point is this is kind of what might be going on in the background. This is some of the mindset that's happening from my experience, and this is more detail hopefully for you on how these steps move back and forth, why they're moving back and forth. And so when you see it, it's not necessarily to be panicked. Yes, it will be frustrating because now it's going to take your claim even longer. But it is a showing that the VA is trying to catch their mistakes and before they put that decision out there, and you come to me and we start fighting with them. So let's say though that RVSR says, yeah, everything's good, everything's great, let's make this decision. Maybe they're going to grant some things, maybe they deny some things. But they say, yeah, I don't feel that there's any errors in there. We've done our part, we've done our duties. We're going to go ahead and we're going to make a decision on your claim there, veterans. And that's what the VA is going to do at this point, that RVSR in this example. And likely now you're going to move to that step once that decision is done. Let me back up a little bit. Once that decision is done, you'll move off into the step 6 where preparing for a decision letter. Because now once the RVSR is done, it goes to another VSR, what we used to call the post side of things, authorization, promulgation. They're going to go through and they're going to draft those notification letters, do all the award stuff in the background that you don't see. So you can get issued the payments of any back pay, and you can get a copy of that decision letter, their veterans. So this is where VA says we'll prepare your decision letter. It's really that simple, honestly. And then they give some more information here. If you're eligible for disability benefits, this letter will include your disability rating, the amount of your monthly payments, and the date your payments will start. And that's pretty accurate. It'll give you your appeal rights and some other information as well and in there. But yeah, it's pretty accurate. Now, again, VA does note that there's a process that could go back to evidence gathering. There could be an issue in here where it hits the preparing decision letter, and here's something that could happen. That VSR might realize, oh wait, I think the RVSR put down the wrong effective date here on the claim, and they bring it to the RVSR's attention. The RVSR goes, yeah, you're right. You may see it step back. That's something that's happened. I've seen happen working with the VA. But it's good. It's another check and balance to make sure those mistakes are being cleaned up before your decisions are released there, veterans. Now, something else that I have seen happen in experience is before that decision letter gets drafted, prepared, sent out, there sometimes are quality checks. Quality will pull a couple files from each person, and maybe they're ahead of the game and they pull that file before the letter gets prepared. That notification letter gets prepared before the preparing of the decision letter step is done. And they say, nope, I feel the decision has an error in it that needs to be fixed before it goes out. And then, yeah, guess what, veterans? We're going to walk backwards for a second. But again, not necessarily a bad thing. I don't want you to always see everything as a bad thing. It's just more checks and balances. The VA trying to make sure everything is done correctly and follow the rules and the laws there. So it is possible it steps back. But let's say it doesn't. Let's say we meet the preparing decision letter, all that gets done. We move on to step 7 here. It's a final review. A senior reviewer will do a final review of your claim and the decision letter. So a lot of times what I remember witnessing is it would go from one person who prepares all the letters and goes through everything, and we get that one more person who does a check. Again, as I like to have seen it as, is a bunch of checks and balances to make sure that the person before did everything correctly. So that's what you kind of got going on there. And that step 7 is somebody's going back and double checking again that the work before them is done before they give another sign off on everything and release everything. Step 8 is everybody's favorite. Hey, claim has been decided. You'll be able to review and download your decision letter in the claim status tool. If you got the app, you should be able to see it there as well. Veterans now, keep in mind, I have seen it where even on myself, something goes wrong technologically, and for some reason the decision letters, the rating decisions aren't showing up on the website or the app. Don't freak out. Doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It's there somewhere. Just something went wrong. Computers are computers. I know they fight with me all the time. Wait till the AI gets a hold of me. Boy, we're gonna really fight technology. No. Anyhow, just keep in mind it should be there. That's ultimately what's happening now. Everything's been finalized. Everything's been signed off. It's being released. It's being closed out in their system, VA system, their veterans for you, and that's that. That's that final step 8 there. They're going to send you copies by mail as well. So that's why I say if you don't see it on the app or the website, it's, again, not the end of the world. It is nice when you can see it there and you can see it right away. I get it. But please remember, computers are not perfect. They may error, maybe outside the control of VA. Maybe they're not aware the error is occurring. Maybe they are. IT is information technology department's working on it. It takes some time to go through the code that's in the computer systems and figure out what went wrong. But you'll get a copy by mail. You'll get a nice copy, that whole packet there. If you got a representative, they're going to get it as well. They can usually see it in the VA file, electronic VA file, the VBMS file there. So now, they do know it may take a little bit longer than 10 days, but should arrive within 10 business days. Again, veterans, keep in mind, I've seen it where it take mail months to show up if something goes wrong in the mailing logistics. So again, not the end of the world, but if you have a representative, that's where I think it's even more helpful because we can see things faster than waiting for the mail most times. So I guess that's my plug there. Veterans, if you're looking for a representative, somebody to help you out, there's plenty of VSOs out there, plenty of accredited agents, plenty of accredited attorneys. There's myself at veteranlane.com who is happy to sit down, have a phone call with you if you're in the local area. Sit down, we'll chat here at the table about your claim and see what we can help with, and then it gives us access to everything, your VA file there in the VBMS world. So those are in a nutshell, those are the steps for your veterans, a little bit more explained. Give you an idea of what's kind of happening there. And I really want to put that out to you because I do get veterans who really rely very heavily on that system. But I want you to understand, too, it is a computer system. Computer systems are not perfect. They do error. They are made by imperfect people. We all error, too. Maybe it's much smarter than people than me when it comes to it. But sometimes errors happen, mistakes happen. So just know that there's no reason to usually freak out when something doesn't show right away in the decision, or in the steps there. If you go backwards, it's not the end of the world. It's not necessarily a bad thing. If you go backwards and forward a couple of times, yeah, it's a bummer. It's going to take a little longer, but at least likely something has been caught that's going to be fixed before the decision comes out to you. And if that's not the case, again, veteranlane.com. If all those errors make it all the way through, somehow all those checks and balances, and they process all the way out, and you need to appeal that claim, veteranlane.com. Okay, thank you, everybody. That's our video today. As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and do all that wonderful stuff as you feel fit. And then if you do, again, have any topics you are itching to hear about, throw in the comments. I will definitely put together videos the best I can for those topics. I want to make sure you get the information that you need and desire in order to make this process of VA disability much smoother. All right, have a wonderful day.